Tucker. I'm the president and CEO of ILC Engineering. I'm also a community advocate for a lot of different causes. And my message to anyone out there is if you are not doing something that affects more than yourself, and you're not doing something for the greater good, and you're not doing anything for your community, get involved.
Hey guys, welcome back to Couch Conversations with Shatara. I am excited because we have a special guest on the couch today, and she has just so much greatness to give to you guys. Miss Iam Tucker, how are you?
I'm awesome. I am so happy to be here with you.
Welcome to the couch.
Thank you.
Finally on the couch.
Finally.
So your name is Iam Tucker.
Yes.
That's such an interesting name. Where did that name come from?
Well, my mother and my father, both of their parents were pastors. So they come from a very deep biblical background. My mom tells this long, drawn-out, dramatic story that I refuse to tell. You have to get her on the couch. But it's basically from a passage in the Bible when Moses asked the Lord, "Who shall he say sent him to free his people?" And he said, "Tell him that the I am sent you." So it's in Exodus, and so it's like it's deep, right? So I'm like, oh Lord, just trying to live up to the right.
And people say all the time, he is the I am. They say I am,
right.
And when I was trying to think of it, I kept saying, is it biblical? Like it has to be, because there is no other way.
To let you know how biblical it is, my full name is Iam Christian Tucker.
Oh,
right.
Okay. I am a Christian.
Right.
Okay, the world needs to know I am a Christian.
That's right.
So tell us, who is I am?
Iam is a daughter. Iam is a hustler. Iam is a business person. Iam is a community advocate. Iam is a believer in equity. Iam is a believer in voting and all that comes along with that.
Yeah. Okay, what was growing up like for you?
Childhood, right? My parents always included me in their business.
Okay.
They were government contractors as well. I did not want to go in that direction, so I wanted to go be a police officer. So I went to school for criminal justice, and I had 108 hours. I was at Southern University when Katrina hit.
Gotcha.
And I was tired of everybody talking about a lot of different things and coming down on New Orleans people. So I said, you know what, I'm tired of talking about it. I want to do action. So I applied to the police academy while I was in school. They accepted me, and I went straight to the police academy. I graduated president of my class, and I was there for 3.5 years in Baton Rouge. So I kind of deviated away. And then my father came to me. I was trying to get narcotics and different other specialized divisions, and my father is like, I want to retire, and I don't want you to do that, and I want you to come back to New Orleans and take over the family business.
So you're an only child?
I'm an only child of my parents' marriage, yes.
Okay, yes. So that's how come you were the one who had to come back and take over.
And I had a half brother, and he was like, it's between you and your half brother. I was like, you can't do that.
Yeah, but you can. He
but
can't do it, but I can.
I might not want to do it. Right, exactly, but yeah.
That's odd. I went to school for criminal justice. Okay. Initially, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay, I get it.
And then it turned to being an SUV detective. Like,
I
got caught up into Special Victims Unit. I got caught up into all that. And I'm just like, okay, I'm a girly girl. Am I really going to be running behind people? Like, am I really going to be pulling out a gun? Like, is this something I really want to do?
Yeah, you got to think about it.
And so I had to second guess it. So why narcotics?
I really like the cohesiveness of the unit. I like the fact that they worked in a silo, and their operations are so silent, and you really didn't hear about anything they were doing. A narcotics detective rolled up to me one time in an off duty. He was kind of like looking at me and waving, and I was like, that was me. And I was like, wow. I was like, I never even know where y'all are. So I like the covert nature of what they were doing. Even though my job now is like pretty much the opposite of that, but I really respected how those guys worked. And so I wanted to be a part of that. And I felt like they were doing something really hands-on to try to help into getting the right people out of the community that are hurting.
The community. Okay, so what do you think about, just the fact that you were a cop, and you brought change into the community, and you know what it takes for change. What do you think about the police brutality that's going on now with, the men?
It pains me on both different sides, right? It's really a tough position for, especially a black police officer, right?
Yeah.
Or a black, even ex-police officer. Montel Jackson was a police officer that died in remember the sniper situation that happened after the Alton Sterling incident?
Yeah.
And so it was a direct, I'm not going to say direct, but it was a reaction to that. When the gentleman came down from out of town, stayed in a hotel, dressed up like a ninja, walked out with his AR-15, and decided that day he was going to cause an incident to draw police officers in and ambush them.
Gotcha.
Montrell was my zone partner when I was a police officer, and we rode together every day. And so he was one of the first police officers to respond to that, and he was killed. And he had only had something like 6 weeks with a brand new baby. One of the best people I've ever met in my life. I mean, salt of the earth, would give you his shirt and his heart. And so, it pains me to know that a senseless killing by another officer in the form of what happened to Alton Sterling, which was totally preventable. It did not have to happen.
It didn't have to happen.
And I know because I used to work that zone. And so I think the police officers and police departments need to focus on hiring. I think they need to make bias sensitivity and bias training a part of the application process. And I also think that in our communities, we tend to say we hate the police, or we antagonize and things like that. That doesn't help. What I think is we need more people that look like us to apply to
be a police.
Because just like in New Orleans is a different way to police than it is in Baton Rouge. In New Orleans, people, we loud, right? We out there yelling, we talk about saints, we laughing. But other people that aren't from our community might hear it as argument.
Right.
And so it's just something as simple as when you arrive to a scene and you hear loud speaking, you can't automatically assume that there's a conflict. Out here, it might be celebration.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just, I think we need more people from our community to join the police department. I would love to see that.
That makes a whole lot of sense. That's how you kind of like fix the problem. Too many times we feel like, nobody want to deal with the police.
Right.
We all,
and we can't demonize it, because I always say, everybody hates a police officer until you need one.
So you need one.
You know what I mean? Like, I hate you pull me over, whatever, but if somebody breaks in your car, they hurt your mama, first person you calling is the police. You expect things.
Yeah.
So you can't have it both ways all the time. You got to understand, not every police, I'd say it's about 3% of bad apples that set the example for all the other rest of the good police that are outside every day, working with the community. And it's a shame.
Yeah. I definitely understand that. The No Bail Law the initiative you had, is it
the money bill? So I was a part of that. There was another group that started that, and they were phenomenal with it. But the No Money Bail initiative was something I wanted to be a part of, because it's destroying communities. If you are accused of a crime, you're not even convicted, you don't even get your day in court, and they want to hold you or take money from you and your family. What if you get exonerated? But in the process, you had to put a lien on something. You had to give up a bunch of money you didn't have. You can't pay for your car. You can't pay to get to work, so you lose your job.
Yeah.
And then you get acquitted. And what happens then?
Right.
It's completely unfair, and it only affects one part of the population more than anyone else. So if it's completely disproportionate, why are we doing this? The statistics are there. You don't have to even think about it.
Yeah.
It's not fair. And so I think there's a lot of good people on every side of legal facets that believe that it needs to change.
It needs to change.
Yeah.
And so what's the goal? The goal is to what?
The goal is to change the system and not require money bail. If you have standing in the community, then that should stand for itself. If you have a history of not, being able to make bail or things like that, there's alternative means, and that's a whole conversation itself. And there are people much smarter than me and scholars that have come up with suggested alternatives, and it's something that's really great to get involved in. But I think that all those different alternatives need to be explored. Judges need to understand exactly where people come from a little bit more. And so I think there's a lot of judges that need training and need to understand a little bit more sensitivity of the populations that they're serving.
Yeah. And so you left being a police and you went to take over the family business. What is it? What is the family business?
Everybody asks that. No one understands what we do.
What do you do?
So we do civil engineering and construction management and program management, right?
Okay.
So right now, for instance, in the city of New Orleans, everybody knows we got a bunch of FEMA money, right? Because our roads were destroyed after Katrina. The water came, the water is a powerful substance, and it washed out our roads. We're not that great in the first place, right? So we do the design of the roadways so that we make the plans that go to the construction companies in order to fix it. Or we might design pump stations, or we might be able to design a levee, or we might do inspection over roadways or sewerways or water lines that are going into the ground, anything infrastructure related. And so
it's important.
We try to.
So do we blame you for the
No.
Are you the reason we have these potholes?
It's not me. Blame our environment. You know, we're like the mayor always says, we're New Orleans. We're a city that floods.
Yeah.
And so it's like it boggles my mind when every time we're having a conversation, they're like, we can't believe this water's up here. Well, New Orleans has been flooding since our great grandparents were here, and we continue to not want to pay enough taxes to be able to support the maintenance of a system that's 300 years old.
Yeah.
Right? And so every time I always try to remind people when it floods and you see the water not going down, don't forget that on election day, when the mayor and the state are trying to fund drainage maintenance funds, anything to maintain the 300-year-old infrastructure that we have, everybody votes no. Or politicians that might have other ulterior motives encourage you to vote no. At the same time, while their favorite places are flooding, at the same time, and their constituents are suffering.
Yeah.
So people should be a little bit more mindful and skeptical of all the messages that they hear from the usual suspects on the radio and everything like that when they're encouraging you not to vote for something that will help you and your family not have to go through the same things over and over. We can't pay 1952 prices. It's a 1952 car. It's not going to cost the same to maintain a 1952 car as it would a 2019 car.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that simple.
I definitely agree with that. Let's talk politics.
Oh.
You were a very intricate part in Governor John Bel Edwards.
I tried to.
You were a face in the New Orleans area that people saw, and a lot of things that you did here in New Orleans, I took and I went and did in St. Charles Parish.
And thank you.
No problem.
Thank
I feel like that's what we have to do. People listen. I just think that our community is such a, they get on board when they see somebody else doing it. Like I see it, so I'm gonna go ahead on and do it. Right. So I just felt like it was my job to do it, make it seem.
If you feel like you could wield the influence, and this is for anyone, if you feel like you can help wield the influence of even one person to get out and go vote and have their voice be heard, it's the most crucial thing ever. I always tell people, if you're not gonna vote, shut up. You don't get to have a say about anything because you've given that voice.
They're right up. You gave it up.
But I really I believed in the governor's initiatives. I felt like his ground team and his ground game in the beginning might have started out a little slow, and I was tired of sitting back and waiting for. I'm like, I want to help. No one's calling me. Well, guess what? I'm gonna do it. So I decided to get together with a couple friends who I know are influencers in areas that I am not adept in. Right. I know what I'm good at. I know my weaknesses are. Right. So I put together a group of us and I said, let's go do this. Governor, can you come down and meet and talk with a lot of people that believe in your message and may not understand exactly how crucial it is? I couldn't let Donald Trump of Louisiana come down here and do something without a fight. Okay? No. So I try to get them to understand. I can't deal with it, and it's time to send a message to DC. And if I could be a part of sending a message, then I'm all about
Send that message. We all have to be a part of sending a message. It can't just be Iam. It can't just be Shatara. It can't just be Greg or Larry or all of these people. It can't just be them. We have to all stand together and send the message, guys.
We gotta vote.
We gotta vote. Go vote. Tell people. I think people don't understand the importance of voting, like why they should actually vote, especially millennials. Like we really need to get out and vote.
Like the difference is palpable. The difference is obvious. New Orleans is the reason that pushed it over the edge for the governor. Yeah, and it shows you what we can do if we just get together, and if you go into the polls, bring 3 people with you. Yeah, if you're able to do voter registration drives, to do it. Another reason it makes a difference, going back to the money bail thing in courts, is because when you vote and you're constantly on the voter rolls, that's how juries are selected. So when you're tired of seeing people get away with things they shouldn't get away with, when you're tired of seeing juries made up of one type of person for certain trials, that's because the jury pools don't have enough of us in them, because we're not voting.
We're not voting.
So there's rippling effects, that have to do with that. So we got to go vote. If you want, we have more registered Democrats in the state of Louisiana than there are Republicans, which means that our leadership, even at the state level, can look how we want it to look. Yeah. But if we don't get out and vote, and they don't expect us to, then they have nothing to fear. So I think we sent the fear, not only statewide, but up to DC, in this last election.
Yeah, that's really good. I was all about that when I was like, oh my God, it's good to see all of us pull together and make it happen. But I don't like it to happen at a crisis. Like, you know what? Now we got to come together, because it seems like it's not going to happen.
We can't do it once. Right. We have to chronically
correct. Like consistently. It has to be consistent.
Absolutely.
So you were running for a public, or you wanted to.
I thought about it because, again.
And what were you going to run for?
I was going to run for a Louisiana Senate seat. And I wanted to run out of frustration with some career politicians, some career politicians who I believe are very complacent. And I watched during the last legislative session, when people that are supposed to be fighting for New Orleans, for easy things to fight for like drainage and infrastructure, sat on their hands and did not say a word. Yeah. And so I watched people from other parishes fight harder for our city and my district than the people that were supposed to be representing my district, and I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate it. So I think you should have to do your job when you're there.
And so then you pulled out.
So I waited I prayed with my family. I prayed with my father, who is a long-time advisor in a lot of political campaigns. And I was entering the race so late that I felt like if I'm going to do this and I want to do it right, and if I'm going to accept people's money that are offering their money to me to run, it needs to be a full-hearted effort, not half-hearted. And so I don't want to go about anything half-assed.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I definitely understand that. But are you going to run again? Are you going to put yourself out there again?
I'm not going to say no, but I'm going to say I really enjoy strategy and that behind the scenes kind of work, and as some people call it on the other side, king making and queen making. I love to try to help the next queen get to where she needs to be, and I really enjoy that work as well. I'm not going to rule out anything. You never know the direction, the path that God takes you. But I never thought I'd ever get married. So look at where I'm at now, right? So I'm not going to say never to anything, but yeah.
I'm rocking with you either way.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Just know that.
And if you would like to run, I'm rocking with you too.
Don't put it on my mind now, because y'all know what manifestation. Okay.
That's right.
Iam, what motivates you? What are the things, or what are a few things that you can honestly say that it's this, like?
Yeah, it's wanting to uplift my community drives me. I hate some of these fights that I have to be in. Yeah. But I can't keep my mouth shut. I like being outspoken. I like feeling a part of a movement. I love being able to take care of my family. Family is everything.
Yeah.
Just really, it's important to me to do something outside of just service to myself. If I'm only doing something that's serving myself, I'm not serving any other higher good. And that is sounds like complacency to me, and I believe that comfort and complacency is never a place to be.
Yeah, you sound like the black women back in the days, the Rosa Parks days, and all of that, being a part of the movement.
That's right.
Not being putting your hands to the plow, making it happen.
Anyone listen to the news and listen to Fox News and see what's going on right now in the world.
Yeah.
And all this misinformation, and not want to be a part of something the same way, like you said, the Rosa Parks of the world. It's the same fight.
Yes.
It's just a different day. It's just a different day.
I think people sometimes get a little confused or I don't know what it is, priorities or whatever the case, a little messed up.
Yeah.
What do you think about the impeachment?
Oh, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
We're not finished though, but what do you,
I tell you what, a few months back, and you can even look at my Twitter, I admit it, I was like, what is Nancy Pelosi doing? I was like, she's just sitting on her hands, she's not doing anything. We need new leadership and all this kind of stuff. And then you start paying attention a little bit closer, and you start seeing how a lot of other legislators get loud, and then Pelosi gets with them, and all of a sudden it comes on down. The woman is a chess player. And I believe that her move that she made right at the end of impeachment after the vote and decided not to assign managers to it yet was a genius move, because it gives her so much leverage. And I think that even the pundits on TV aren't understanding the strength in that move. I think it's very easy to knock things when you're not in control, when you're not in a room where things are happening, to quote Hamilton, right? But I really believe that this finally, to me, after a lot of frustrations and letdown with the Mueller report, in a world where facts apparently just don't matter. Where if the same thing was going on and it was Obama doing this, Lord, they would have taken him out.
Yes.
Okay. And so I just believe that I feel like we're finally slowly chipping away at something that's meaningful and exposing all these Republicans that are literally letting you know that I don't care what the facts are. I don't want witnesses. When have we ever not wanted witnesses at a trial?
At a trial, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. You gotta have a witness.
If I'm innocent and I got 5 people that can say I'm innocent, I want 5 people, and I want their grandmamas to come up there and tell everybody how innocent I am. And so I think the more that that they expose these ridiculous, the hypocrisy of what they're doing and their corruption and their methods and means of corruption, those with the actual brain know what's going on. And even if it's the white folk that are sitting in somewhere and they're paying attention and they can't say it out loud, but they know in their head that this ain't right.
Yeah.
You ain't got to say it out loud, but go in that voting booth and speak with your heart.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And even if it doesn't go the whole way, at least it started.
Absolutely.
At least, we have some type of solace in the fact that we made a difference.
I think it's a twofold thing. I think it's great that even if he gets reelected, it's ignited a movement in millennials and people that otherwise would not usually be involved in politics to want to get involved. We've had more women running for office than ever. Beautiful thing. So it's igniting a movement with the right people. Problem is also with the wrong people, he's letting the toothpaste out the tube when it comes to being proud of being a white nationalist and a white supremacist and making it an okay and an acceptable thing to talk about. Let's put that back where it was. Even back in Nixon days, nobody wanted to be called a racist. Now, like, I'm racist.
Yeah, it's all good now.
Like, it's not cool. So it's putting the toothpaste back in the tube when it comes to that is going to be difficult. But it's just going to take a lot of good people voicing what they need to voice and being bold enough to say it and being okay with calling out wrong for wrong.
So, you are engaged to the beautiful Candace, Miss Bad Briscoe, one of the keto queens out here.
Yes.
I saw Candace and I'm like, I'm going on keto.
Yes.
I need that right there. Like, she inspired.
She's a motivator.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
And to see she did work like, she would help like Judy and Super,
Absolutely.
and everything.
Absolutely.
She could show all of the different things. How is it being married to the keto queen?
It's an honor. It's crazy. We were friends for so long, for years before that.
Mm-hmm.
Never even a thought, not even in the realm of a possibility of actually being together. I never thought I'd have a chance or anything like that. But she's just such a dynamic person.
Yeah.
And it reflects not only in her work, she's so passionate about it and so knowledgeable about it with her background in nursing.
Mm-hmm.
And celebrity clients up the wazoo. And I think even right before, she really took off, even right before she was on the Today Show with Al Roker and everybody, did a few segments. But she's still taping segments on different shows. There's another show called the Dr. Nandy Show she's going to be on. And she's a part of a brand ambassador for a lot of different things. But she is just amazing. Her spirit, her drive, her nature, it's just in her nature to be a caretaker. And so to be with somebody like that and that's so confident. That confidence is so sexy. You know what I mean? And passionate and to have goals and to have the drive to achieve them. And she has so many friends I can't keep up with. Like, I'm like, we're having a wedding and we can't afford this. It's like you have 500 friends, you need to pick 75 and family. And so it's just, it's amazing, and I just feel blessed. Yeah. And I have never been this happy in my life. Like it's crazy.
People are looking for a love like that. Okay. Yes. Like that is hard to find.
It is hard to find, and it's so cliche. You hear people say, when it happens, you gonna know. And I'm like, yeah, right. When it's just clicked.
It clicked.
And I'm like, I don't believe in marriage, but I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. I can see it. And so that's a big deal for me. And I feel like even though I have the same stressors that I've always had every day, I feel like life, I can deal with those in a different way when I have a partner that is so dynamic and perfectly matched.
Yeah.
And no one's perfect. Nothing is perfect. Every relationship has its ups and downs. But I found someone who I'm willing to go through those things with and to grow with. And I'm excited.
That's amazing.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I think yes, it's crazy.
So, being a cop, then being in corporate America, doing jobs for like the government, putting your foot out to say that, listen, I may possibly run for government. How is that being a lesbian?
Well, it ain't made anything easier. It's like, a lot of, women can use sex appeal and things like this. Doesn't mean that you sleep with anybody or anything like that. But when the guys are like, I know I can't get with you, you have to bring something else, right? And so, it's been interesting. I've gotten called names. I've gotten, all kind of stuff. But if I really cared and thought about that every day when I woke up, I wouldn't even get out of bed and leave the house. Yeah. I don't care what anybody's opinion is of me. I care about, are you going to hire me because I'm qualified? I just happen to be black and have all these acronyms behind my name. I want to know I'm here for the business. I'm asking uncomfortable questions in the beginning of it. Don't care what you think of me personally, but you can't mess with me professionally because I got it together. Right? And I'm only going to come after and go after jobs where I know I'm qualified to do them. And I know what my qualifications are. I know what we bring to the table. And if somebody wants to get caught up in that, then maybe that's not the person I need to do business with, And there's been times where I've cut off relationships with businesses that are very successful. And that I might have needed to help me get into certain spaces. Yeah. But if I can't get along with you as a person and a human, people don't just do businesses with business. Yeah, they do business with people they like and people they can get along with and people they trust. Yeah. And so if I don't feel that trust factor there, that je ne sais quoi, whatever, I'm a disengage.
You're gonna disengage. Yeah, you made a point about if you allowed what people thought about you to matter, then you wouldn't get out of bed. Yeah. There are some people who allow what people say. How that strength that you have, can you tell someone that may be watching, that may be going through the situation you're going through, that may be afraid to say anything or be happy because of the fact that they may not get that job or they may not get that business? Absolutely. Is that something that you can let them know to hold on to so that they can move on?
I would say one of my friends, I used to worry about it, right? A long time ago before I was really comfortable with my own skin. And I had a talk with a friend of mine. I was like, I can't believe such saying this, and I heard this saying this, and saying it behind my back. And she said, homie, people are always gonna talk, and you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, damn, you're right. So why am I working myself up over and over again for something that I can't, and it doesn't matter, you know? And so I had to learn that, you know, people's opinions of me are not my business. That's their business.
That's theirs. I agree.
So, and I'm gonna keep moving and keep going with it. And the other thing is, where there's a will, there's a way. And I always say, you know, you get 1,000 no's before you get a yes.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of people out here. So if you don't appeal to this person or that person, then maybe it's not his plan. And maybe there's another better path out there for you that you just haven't explored. But you got to take the time to do some self-digging, self-exploration to figure that out. But don't take one no or one or two no's as gospel. That doesn't mean you're bad at what you do. You just got the wrong person.
You got the wrong person.
Knock on a different door.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So before we end, I have a little game for you.
Okay.
You heard of like America's Got Talent?
Yes.
Okay, well this is I Am Has Talent.
Oh.
So if you can sing, if you can dance, if you can rap, if you a comedian, you got a joke to tell. You have to give us some talent. What you got for us?
Now you see, if you had a basketball and a basketball hoop,
You can hoop.
I could hoop. Even my knees don't say I can hoop no more. These 3 and 4 knee surgeons don't say I can. But you don't want me to sing.
Really?
Oh no! I think there's a lot of people that agree with me.
You have to. I know there's a song that you listen to in a car that maybe reminds you of Candace or something that you know, one of those songs.
I will
like,
not decide on myself or her or shame. She said, "Don't shame me." I can hear it in my head right now.
Don't shame me.
Don't shame me. But if you had a volleyball net and a volleyball and a basketball, I'm good on that.
I saw you was playing volleyball on your Instagram. You said love and volleyball.
Love and volleyball. We both actually played for the same coach for a long time. Not even at different times, but there's one thing that is something special to me that the person I would love volleyball as much as I do. Volleyball is a passion.
Yeah.
And so, especially sand volleyball. And so, when I get my knee completely better, we both gonna get in the court together.
Gonna get on the court.
But that's where I
so that's where the talent is. The talent is not in the room. You know, we have to be outside.
But if you want to see it one day, I'm all for that.
Okay, so listen, guys, we're gonna get her together, and we're gonna catch her on a court, whether it be volleyball or basketball. Okay, we're gonna get it together. Is there anything that you would like to say to the viewers? Anything, you know, as politics, anything with anything? Is, you know, leave a message for them before we, you know, end it.
I would say that one thing I always say is be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Learn to get comfortable with the uncomfort. It's to grow, you have to get out of that.
Yeah.
And don't fall into a sense of complacency in any way, shape, or form with yourself, with people, with certain things that you do. Get out of your comfort zone if you really want to grow.
If you really want to grow. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for coming on the couch. Great. Thank you for being open and honest and transparent. Absolutely. And thank you for sharing, you know, with us about politics, because so many of us want to do it and we want to be a part of it, but Absolutely. We just don't know.
I'll tell you what, can we do this? Next things that come around, and I'm not just talking about the next election, let's do some voter registration drives.
Yes.
Let's do some get out the vote stuff. Let's do some influencer stuff with you and your expertise. And let's keep this thing going.
Yes, we definitely will do that. Definitely. So thank you so much,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.